Okay, welcome. Edit this how you want, Madison, but we're at Lakeside. Decided to stop at Lakeside on the way to get the project because give something for the wife. She wanted to come here, and I just got myself a quarter pounder. So we've got the trailer hooked up. I won't do too much of that because it is 100% legal, but I won't say that because somebody will say no, you're out. But anyway, we've got another hour and a bit now up the A1 to go get the project. So yeah, I wish my dad was here to do it, but with me, but he's not. We're going to see him tomorrow, hopefully. So very noisy around here. Cars found blowing and Tesla's charging over there. They make an awful noise, don't they? A loud noise when they charge. It is warm down here, so let's get the aircon on and hit the A1. Let's go see the project. Here we go. Hopefully we'll turn around later. Said he had it running this morning, so it drives but no brakes. I haven't told anyone yet on this video yet what the car is there. I don't know if I'm going to or not, I can't yet. No, it's nice smooth road. Yeah. Started barking, but he started wagging his tail. Yeah. I think he's okay. Yeah. I know the guy said he got it running a year ago or so, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I was not my dad. Yeah. I'm surprised my dad not seen it for that. Okay, I thought I'd record this as it's nearly happening. Basically, when I was a teenager in the early 90s, me and my dad bought-ish a Scamp kit car. We knew the owner of the company who still makes it now, Andrew McLean. We lived down the road from him, and my dad's were friends, I guess, quite early before that. Anyway, we picked up a kit off him. We had a minivan that we put all the parts onto. We spent a few years doing that, drove around the garden, not a very big garden, but we drove around and had some fun. And then my dad then swapped it back with Andrew McLean at some point for some other stuff, and vice versa, as mates do, and we never saw it again and lost track of it. I joined the Scamp owners group 5 years ago to try and track it down. No one knew where it was. A year ago I saw a new photo of it appear in a barn, and literally today I posted a picture again and said, does anyone know who took this, where did it come from? Guys got in touch, Ben Walker, said that his girlfriend used to live on the farm for a little bit. He went over there and he tinkered with it, got it moving and driving, knows the owner and stuff. He's now passed my number on to the son of the owner, and fingers crossed we'll hear something back in the next few days and then see if they're willing to part ways with it, and yeah, go with that. So we'll just keep you posted on that. Got a few conversations back and forth with this Ben Walker, so it's a really nice bloke. Said he'd offer to help as well because people are sometimes a bit scared to strangers. So yeah, let's fingers crossed, and if we find this and we can get it going, we're on the move and we'll just go get it. Dad's up for it as well. Okay, just had a phone call from the owner, a guy called Matthew. Brilliant name. Yeah, it's for sale. So we've now got to try and do the dance and try and agree a price. They think the number plate's worth something, but I don't think, you know, whether it's transferable or not. Anyway, it's irrelevant. Was on the road in 2004, I think, so it's actually it's quite nice to hear that it actually hit the road and it got some air, wind in its hair and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, hold this and let's see if we can negotiate a price and then go collect it. Get my second car back, because actually my first car was a minivan, but then we used all the parts on that minivan before the days of AVA. This is like 80s and 90s where you could build anything you wanted. Oh, those were the days. Okay, here we are. We're back at the shack and a plane taking off, and I've left it overnight, and the only night it rained was last night. So now the seats are a bit wet, but I may flip this around later on with other cars. But anyway, still on the trailer. This is a Mark III Scamp. My dad's coming down in a bit to see it for the first time. Hopefully he'll go, oh yeah, I remember that car. If he says this ain't the right car, I've just gone and bought a pup, haven't I? But anyway, always wanted a Scamp still again because I missed one. So, white reg, VIN numbers, everything look numbers matching, as I say. Technically though, it hasn't actually, because we used to have an 850 out of a van in it. It's got a 998 in it now. So someone's done some work on it. But yeah, this is it. I say me and my dad built this in the early 90s. I was just a teenager at secondary school thinking I was going to be the cool kid driving this to school, and all the girls were going to go, wow, look at that car, isn't he amazing? Sort of like Magnum PI, but in England. But yeah, so, but my dad, I think we'll get the story in a bit. We had a few Rochdale Olympics, obviously, you know, on the channel we've already got a Rochdale. He had a Rochdale. He then swapped it with Andrew McLean, who was the owner of Scamp and still is company at the time, for a basic kit. So we started building it. We had a minivan, so we put the parts across into it. Yes, we should have kept the minivan, but hey ho. And then I think my dad needed some sheets of aluminium a few years later, so he then swapped it back again. I think that was the story. So mates rates and all that, and then we lost track of it. 5 years later, I've been on the Scamp forum every year asking about it. Then someone posted a picture of it, knew where it was, got in contact. I got in contact with the current owner, and we did a deal and we bought it back. So yeah, got some plans for it. I don't know what we get done this year, but it'd be nice to at least get it runs and drives, as you've seen. We've got to sort the brakes out, so that's what hopefully me and my dad can, at least when he comes down, we can just at least diagnose what we need for the brakes up and order the parts up. I'm tempted just to put a little bit of my own touch on it, quick term. But yeah, I've got a few long-term surprises for it. We'll mostly change the engine at some point, not sure what yet. My dad did suggest the other night dropping the old 16 valve BMW A series engine in. That could be quite cool, because I don't think anyone's done one yet. Yeah, I think we'll undo the straps, wait for my dad to arrive, cook him some bacon. My dad's late, so he's missing out on the bacon. Where are you, Dad? I found a rag in here. It's not covered in oil. I wonder what it's there for. The alternator plug's quite loose, so I suspect it's been shoved in there just to hold the alternator in. It feels alright, but yeah, maybe that's it. Who knows? Still waiting for Dad. I completely mucked up what time he was coming, so he should be in a bit. Slightly closer inspection, we can see a core plug that's leaking a little bit there. Looks like it's been popped out, or someone's tried to pop a new one in. Yeah, I don't know if we obviously we have had it running a little bit, but I haven't even checked to see if there's any water. There ain't much water in there, so let's go pop some in as well. water top tap, core plug leaking. So yeah, mostly more than likely needs coming out, and we'll see if we can put a replacement in, depending on how well it's seated and everything in there. Anyway, it's got some water in it, so that's why the core plug was there. Notice a load of brake cable, brake pipes are all loose and not fitted in there. For info, it seems like it's running Metro hubs and brakes. Anyone that knows or doesn't know minis, you can sort of fit them on there, but I think the geometry is slightly different, so sometimes you have to have adjustable bottom arms, or maybe they've been tweaked. Definitely there's not too much camber or anything weird going on, but you can definitely tell they stick out wide. That's what the old Metro ones did. So I mostly will convert them back. I've got some I've got some non-used, brand new 2-pot calipers and 8.4-inch discs. So I just need some hubs, which are a bit scarce these days, but you can buy them brand new anyway. So I don't know why everyone's paying over the odds for them second hand. But we might go grab Henry and just give a hoover out before my dad gets here. Yes, we need to get this in the dry soon as well. So these run like a classic mini van tank. That's what's inside the wooden box there. As you can see, popping out there. Yeah, the original Mark 1.2s, I think, used to run mini subframes as well, but I think the Mark 3s, don't quote the exact version, but definitely on the Mark 3, which is a Mark 3, basically the design got rid of the rear subframe, and so basically you mount the radius arms and cones and everything to the Scamp. So basically the subframe's built in, technically. Space frame, as the race boys call them. Very minimalistic dash, it is what it is. As I said, this was originally from a van, so it would have just had the single dial in the middle. Want to try and take the roof off when my dad gets here, see if we can put a bit of straightness back into it. And I may put a lick of paint on it, if anyone can guess what the colour might be. So it'd be interesting to ask my dad if he remembers doing any of this. I remember painting it in red oxide, and also remember fitting all the pop rivets, all the floors and the aluminium sheets. These are all aluminium. I remember him just doing all that. Yay! I love exploring project cars. It's the best thing, finding the good things, the bad things, why things were done, trying to figure things out. It's like a historian, isn't it? Just trying to find stuff. So brakes don't work, clutch does. But when we hit the brake, the clutch, oh look, the brake pedal goes down as well. So that tells me more than likely the master cylinder is completely shot. And it's also mostly a bit seized. I might be able to just break it free in a minute, but also notice that the clutch pipe needs replacing as well. It shouldn't be just like that, but they're all things we can be done. And the brake pipe, they're all things that can be all fixed, and people have just done things over the past. It is what it is. Also, in the dash, I found a core plug. So I might get my dad on that, have a look at that, because it mostly be easy to pop the old one out to see what the surface is like. And although that's got a dent in it already, which doesn't look like it's been used, but definitely looks like someone's tried to hit it in there before. Maybe it went the right size. For anyone that doesn't know what a core plug is, I think it plugs the core. When you make the cylinder blocks, and the factories do, they cast them, and then they need ways, I think, to let the air out when they cast it and pour the cast in, also to allow metal in and stuff like that. So they purposely leave holes, which they then have to fill, and so that's where the waterways are, and that's what these pop in, and hopefully should always ever stay there. But when you forget to put antifreeze in over the winter and stuff, water expands, pop these out sometimes. If you're lucky, if you're worse, it cracks blocks and all sorts. I'm sure there's plenty of stories in the comments now of people and their core plugs. Yeah, having a good old explore, and you are as well. Trying to welcome you to these cars. You can go now on Google and search for Scamp, see all the history of them, see if you can try and find one to buy. Aluminium floors, which are cool, don't rust. Made out of big square tubing everywhere. Old mini heater still there. These normally go to the screen vents on a Mini. Obviously, this doesn't have them, so they've just been left. So yeah, could maybe 3D print something up to at least blow some air on there, but to be honest, is it really going to make much difference in these sort of cars anyway? These are, I say, fair weather cars, but hey, you know, depends how hardy you are. Yeah, let's lift the seats back up again. Let's have a good old talk through it. So, hang on a second. There we go, good old classic 80s style kit carring. U-bolt there to hook onto a couple of big wedges of metal to mount the seats to. Which I'll be interested to ask if my dad did that. They look quite similar. And I swear I've seen a lot of this metal around that he's used before on later projects. So we'll ask him that when he gets down here. I did see some of the paint coming off in places, which is not a surprise, I'm not saying anything, but underneath, red oxide. So I did that, which, yes, is what me and my dad loved in the 90s, red oxide. It was the rage for us, so everything got painted red oxide, dogs, cars, anything that was metal that needed painting, red oxide. Got a flat in the back, screw in there. I have put in my Amazon wish list one of those tyre plugs, so I'm thinking they're quite useful, only 20 quid, so if you want to help support the project anyway, check out the link. There's also Stella that you can buy me. I'm getting a little bit low. We'll show you the back end actually, because that's quite cool as well. Tailgate. Okay, back. I haven't even tried to open it yet, but these are, I think, in principle, these were designed as like your own version of your Mini Mokes when the Mini Mokes got stopped. Minis were rusting like anything in the 60s, 70s, 80s. So yeah, you bought this little framework, chassis, bolted all your little bits back on that you had there, and went for a tutorial around the thing. So yeah, so a bit like the Jeep, wheel on the back. Looks like someone's, yeah, this is okay. Oh, made changes, I don't know. I don't know what that is down there. Don't know what these lights are off, they must be just trailer ones. Okay, so we don't have any cables. Looks like someone maybe has done something. There we go. Get a bit of hoover in there. Some people fit rear seats, some people you can get longer wheelbase ones. I think you can get even a shorter wheelbase one. There is no two Scamps the same. Absolutely not. And we'll make sure of that as well. Yeah, let's get the hoover. Where is my dad? Dad's arrived. Let's go get him. Turn left a minute.
That's worse than our other place, isn't it?
They're farmers, aren't they? They're just mostly all the same. There's so much space. It'll be just like us down here, Dad, isn't it?
Down here?
Yeah. As if we owned a, well, you do own a farm. So you could just pull up in front of where those, yeah.
Where the blue one is?
Yeah, just in there. Mostly lease wise and gets you off the main track.
I just did.
Yeah. So yeah, I picked a bit of paint off and I can find red oxide, Dad, so I think. And if it's not our car, can you tell me, just say it is?
No.
Oh, there it is. You walk past it, Dad. Don't you recognise it? So I don't know if you can remember anything you did, but I look like the seat mounts like are yours, but I just recognise a little bit of angle as well that, that you use for everything over the years, but maybe it wasn't you. We definitely had seats in it when we drove it, didn't we, sir?
Oh, yeah.
So you would have not just rolled them in there, you would have bolted them in somehow, but yeah. I don't know if you can remember anything or The pot with everything all looks good, which, you know, I remember you doing quite well, and I remember they're doing that a lot.
But we sealed it up from underneath, didn't we?
But
it could have all been taken off, you see, you don't know. You know, we went wearing all sealant.
Yeah. Well, it might have done still from underneath, you just can't, I don't know.
You'd see the sealant, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the... oh yeah, it's big.
Yeah, sealant. Yeah.
Got sealant.
Yeah. I think you might find a lot of the floor stuff would have quite easily been just jet washed off nearly or whatever.
See, it has got sealant around it.
Yeah.
And I went round it with a, you know, the old gun, you know.
Yeah. You know. Yeah.
It's been sealed, isn't it?
Yeah. And then
how many people would do it, I don't know.
no, but red oxide under the paint there.
Yeah.
You know, who else is?
Because you did it.
Yeah. We just, you were saying just now, we slapped red oxide on everything. You know. Obviously, the engine's been changed, which made me the front subframe, or they've just done there's Metro hubs, which.
No, there's red oxide under it.
Yeah. So.
We didn't have a wood screen in it, did we?
I don't think so. I don't think, because obviously. Yeah, they have to be now. I think. Because I can't remember how much of a kit you had, because obviously someone's fitted the Scamp grill.
Yeah.
Which
well, I was given the chassis for doing some work for Andrew.
I was going to say, I thought that, or you swapped it for a Rochdale, I thought, or vice versa.
No. I did a lot of. I put a new front on his Rochdale because he smashed it up.
Yeah. So. He swapped trade for trade, basically.
It looks as if it has been sealed, doesn't it?
Yeah. We can check the chassis number as well. Well, if we've got any old road records at home, but.
Well, Andrew may.
Yeah, he might have a record.
Because he's still at Rofan, isn't he?
I think he's moved on a bit somewhere, but he's still around. Yeah.
Because he's in the Rochdale Club.
Yeah. And then you ended up swapping it back, didn't you? You said for sheets of aluminium or something, or what did you?
No.
Or did we get a Rochdale off him?
I can't remember. I can't remember the process of getting rid of it. But I got some sheets of aluminium off him for that horse box.
Yeah. So there's some trades gone on. We traded it originally and we traded it back for some reason. Yeah. It's all a bit blurry. It was early 90s, I think I was trying to work it out.
I can't remember.
I was definitely...
Is that the van registration?
Yeah.
So we would have given that.
100%, yeah. I think we also registered it as Scamp as well, I think, you know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Might have done, yeah.
I don't know if you can get any of that via DVLO, but...
Because we had that blue van we bought for you.
Yeah.
And we cut it up. I used the roof for a lot of repair work.
Yeah, we've been, finished using that a few years back, I think, the roof. So, yeah. Scamp.
Yeah, it could well be.
Let's just say it is, Dad. Make me happy. Otherwise...
Yeah. Well, it's
you know, someone's done a lot of work on it since as well, fitting all the bit, because we just had it as a rolling chassis, really, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know, you might have thrown a few bits in, like wind wipers or whatever, but...
No, well, all this box and the back here is...
Yeah, all the petrol tank,
tank was this.
You know, I think in the picture of ours, we didn't even have a tailgate on it at the time, but I expect we had it, but we just didn't.
Oh, yeah, we did have a hinged tailgate on it.
Yeah, be careful. Yeah, because it's got the tyre on it as well.
Yeah, we had a hinged tailgate because they did them without, didn't they?
Yeah, I was saying earlier they did loads of options. They did a shorter wheelbase in this, I think, as well. They did a longer one, and they've done 6-wheeled ones. Yeah, sadly there's a screw in that tyre, that side, but the tyre's going down.
It's gone. It has been sealed, hasn't it?
Yeah. trolleys, there's not much to it really that, you know, apart from as you're looking at the sealant and the panel work, you know, we never got to the point where you'd sort of put your own little touches on it too much, would you? You know, where you're making brackets or, you know, and the bits.
And a lot of it, you know, it's the memory, isn't it?
Yeah. And some of the bits are just so easy to change that somebody else has changed, like subframe bits or steering drop column brackets, anything that you might have put on that you might remember. It's so easy to change, you know. But yeah.
You painted in red oxide.
Yeah, there's definitely red oxide under it, so.
But a lot of it could have been well brushed off, you see.
Yeah, because red oxide doesn't stick brilliantly, does it, sometimes? But obviously we never painted it green, but somebody was must knew it was coming back to us.
In red oxide.
Yeah. What was I gonna? Don't get your trousers. I don't know if they're your dirty trousers, Dad, but not that you get bollocked anymore, do you, by anyone? I don't know. Yeah. Oh, it might have been. It's definitely not tough like Hammerite, I think. And yeah. Drives, Dad. Bloke drove it out to me. Ah, yeah, just cold, obviously. Front core plug leaking. I wonder why there was a rag tap down there.
Yeah.
I filled it with water and it just leaked. There isn't. I've got a spare core plug that came with it, but it looks like someone's already dented it. So
you've got to clean it out nicely.
Huh? Yeah, that's what I guess.
Nicely.
It's just
then put sealant around.
Yeah, if it's just this front one here, you can just see it sticking out already.
The flange ones. It's been frozen up now, isn't it?
Yeah, you can just see it sticking out. It might, you know.
Yeah.
To be honest, it needs coming out, doesn't it, to clean up before just hitting that one back in the more.
Yeah, and you need the thing just the right size to go in to knock it in.
Yeah. But let's see if it starts again. Just mind your air. Yeah, I drove it up into the trailer. Clutch worked. Yeah. I've just put water in it, so it didn't have much water in it earlier, so we'll see if it... Feels like it could do with another engine steady that side. Yeah. Or the engine mounts a bit buggered.
Yeah, there's sealant, look.
Yeah.
It's all been sealed.
Yeah.
That is the thing that sticks in my mind.
Yeah, that and the red oxide to me, because you know, other people would have done. Who knows? They might have done, but
yeah. But where's the red oxide?
There's just that's some red oxide in there. Maybe that's rust.
Because it was only one coat you gave.
Yeah. I definitely just saw like up on the window here.
It's just be nice to know if you could see.
Okay, end of the video now. I was going to try and paint the roof in this video as well, but we've just run out of time. Me and Dad just chatted for a few hours. We didn't really work on the car too much. I'm definitely going to change the Metro brake setup. We're going to put standard mini ones back on, 8.4-inch discs for now. We keep the 12-inch wheels, that's not a problem. Need to get a tyre fix down there because the brake hose is all rubbing down there on the old twin pots I've got down there. I'm going to decide whether I'm going to stick with a single master cylinder or go with the dual master cylinder later mini setup. It does involve brake bars and things like that, but I think it's mostly better to do just because it's easier. I think it'll all fit still. So we'll get all those bits ordered up so we can, what I want to do is get this running and driving and stopping so we can move it about, and I think we'll work out where it's going. And then in the next video we'll paint the roof as well and do a few more bits. So yeah, thank you for all the support. Hope you like this quirky little Scamp vehicle. I know I shouldn't have got another project, but as I said, we used to own it in the 90s. It came up and I managed to track it down. I couldn't say no, I couldn't pass it up again. I don't know when I'm going to ever see it again. So made some more memories for my dad, and yeah. It's a Scamp. Till next time, stay safe and see you soon.